AM 1160, WCCSradio.com. I told you about this program a couple of times this morning as a bit of a setup for us. The program is called Handle with Care, and some representatives of the United Way are with us here this morning. You know most of them. Our conversation is brought to you by Marcus & Mack, voted Best Personal Injury Law Firm in the Best of Indiana County contest. Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Like I said, there's a whole bunch of folks in the studio with us this morning. I want to shut up and let them do all the talking here this morning. So Angela Jackson is here from the United Way. Bob Manzi, Indiana County District Attorney. Patricia Berezansky, the Superintendent of the Purchase Line School District. And Jennifer Van Wieren, who is with Jennifer Van Wieren Counseling. And all of them are United Way board members or members of the coalition here that is putting together and operating this program, Handle with Care. Morning, everybody.
Morning.
It's good to have you all with us here. Angela, let's start with you. What is Handle with Care?
So I think that we'll have an opportunity to explore a little bit more about the Handle with Care program through the other individuals here who also serve on the coalition board. But maybe we could take just a moment to talk about what the coalition is, since this is a fairly new conversation for our community.
Yeah, let's get you a little closer to the microphone, please.
So this is really an initiative and a program that began back in 2021 out of the United Way Community Impact Committee. We had received grant funding from the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency, and we actually just received approval for another 2 years of grant coverage worth $200,000 to continue this coalition work. The coalition is comprised of 65 local community stakeholders who are trained in prevention science and trained to be able to make data-informed decisions. This coalition just recently built a community assessment report based off of the Pays Youth survey that the children in our community take in 6th, 8th, 10th, and 12th grade. Some of the priorities that came out of that assessment is looking into the social, emotional, mental, and health well-being of the youth in our community. And the Handle with Care is the first step in really looking into promoting well-being with the youth in our community.
And it's pretty effective, too, isn't it? DA Bob Manzi, let's speak with you here this morning about this. The Handle with Care utilizes the Safe to Say program, and so that's a pretty solid organization in itself, isn't it?
I mean, it's safe to say is a very valuable program in our county and across the state. This add-on, Handle with Care, is only going to improve the services that we're able to provide our kids throughout the county. The idea is we can take a situation that a child is dealing with, independent of what it is. Their house burns down, they're dealing with some sort of trauma. Something's going on in their life in which the teachers and the adults in their life should just kind of know to be a little more sensitive. So the fire departments, the police departments can make a referral through Handle with Care. And what happens is the school receives just a notification, hey, little Billy, Handle with Care today. They don't get any details. There's no breach of confidentiality. They're just told he might have a little bit of a rough day today.
Yeah.
And what happens is the goal is the teachers know something's going on. They can be a little more empathetic. They can know something's going on in the background. Billy's not just being a nudge that day. There's something going on, and hopefully they can address that in a situation through de-escalation, through providing them services that they need. So it's a very valuable program to help address those issues where if the teachers don't know something's going on, that child may not get some care that he needs, might end up doing something to act out.
And with the variety of issues that a child has to deal with, multiple agencies might have their hands in on a situation with any child. And so their ability to enact through this program really becomes a vital string, doesn't it?
It is a vital string, and you talked about that teamwork effort, which is incredibly valuable. Nothing good happens without the teamwork effort. And here we're able to connect children to services. We're able to help them through their school day. And it might just be somebody dealing with one thing one time. It might be something where we're able to address a child that's dealing with a consistent issue long term. But in any event, we're able to help that child out in a situation to receive services he or she needs to kind of address what's going on help them deal with whatever they're dealing with the appropriate professionals, and move forward with their life in a positive manner. I mean, being a kid's tough. I mean, they deal with some things. They're still kids, and a lot of our kids are dealing with some very adult matters.
Yeah.
Helping them cope with that and learn the skills in the right way is going to help them lead a better life, help them get through whatever issues they're dealing with. It's going to divert them from any possible negative issues, such as the juvenile justice system or the criminal justice system. And all in all, it helps everyone out in a very positive way.
Jennifer Van Wieren, let's talk with you this morning about trauma and how it affects children, because every kid's different and every kid's affected in a different way, aren't they?
Right, exactly. And trauma is an experience, not necessarily an event. So it's the reaction to what has happened, and it's the story that a child or teen starts to tell themselves about the event. So when we're able to be there and be a gentle or safe place to be there for that child, we become a part of that narrative. And some of the thinking that comes out of trauma is formed and goes forward in life. So one of those things might be, I am powerless, or I should have done something. But another one of those is, I can trust others. And so when we're there for children and teens in trauma, we start to set the tone for maybe even a child who doesn't have other adults that they can trust others. And that develops their relationship with those in authority, like teachers, and then further down the road with their community and those in more authority positions, so that they learn in their story and their life that they can trust others or lean on to others for help. And then that speaks back to their behavior. And also for children, when they're in trauma, they go into different states, in and out of different states. So when they're in the schoolroom, they might not have access to function to be able to focus on their test. They might be in a state of flight, like their heart is racing. They might be in fight, and like Manzi mentioned, they might have behavioral issues that day. We wouldn't want to compound their trauma with them experiencing a horrific event and then also having a bad day and getting in trouble for that. They can go into freeze mode and be a little bit more in danger in gym class because they're not aware of space and time. They're kind of numbed out. So just we're there to co-regulate with them. We're there to be a safe, gentle place. I think that creates resiliency, and that creates connection to others. When we show them how to care. I have a lot of adults who go back and tell their story of trauma as a child. The coach that was there, the principal that was there, the neighbor who drove them back and forth to sports if they had complex trauma or abusive household. And those stories are what form connection in the community and resiliency.
Patricia Berezansky, you've been involved with the school for a lot of years. And you've seen a lot of kids. Sometimes a kid is never more alone than with a group of other students. When you're in a crowd of people, but you still feel alone, that's not a comfortable situation for them at all.
Exactly. So you have children that are coming to school and they're spending 8+ hours amongst teachers and coaches and friends. And when they're at home in the evening, we don't necessarily know what they're going through in their life. And the Handle with Care program will give us an opportunity to have insight that a child may have experienced trauma. And just as Jen said, you and I could both go and be in the same experience and translate that in our bodies differently. It may be traumatic to me, and I may need additional supports, and you might be fine. But the idea is that's why every child deserves the chance to be monitored. So we train our teachers, and all the school districts are doing this, training our teachers that if they receive the alert from the principal that says a student's name, Handle with Care, and again, that's all the information they get, that we ask them to put on their empathy belt. Pay special attention to that child during the day. If you have a quiet child who for some way is reacting and acting out, maybe there's something going on, and we need to not send that child to the principal, but to send them to the guidance counselor or the social worker so they can get the support that they need. In the same sense, you have your class clown, and maybe today that child is very quiet. So again, paying attention to that and sending that child so they can get the support that they need. That's what's important. And that's what's going to come out of Handle with Care and the benefits of that for our children, so that we're all on the same page and we're all able to guide and protect those kids so that they can perform academically as well as we want them to. But it all starts with having that solid foundation and know that they're in a safe place.
When we are thinking about the way that you are going to hold the program, administer the program at Purchase Line, I'm sure through committee meetings and reaching out to other school districts, there might be different approaches in one school district as opposed to another. At Purchase Line, are you pretty solid on how you're going to institute Handle with Care?
Absolutely. On our first in-service day, we trained our teachers on Handle with Care. We're going to follow up with them in individual faculty meetings and continually throughout. But again, the alert comes through the Safe to Say line to the Safe to Say team, who then the principals will initiate an email to the staff. It'll simply have the child's name followed by the words Handle with Care. And again, the teachers know how to take that information to keep that special alert. These children may come to school disheveled. Maybe they won't have their homework done. And it's just time to give them a break, and it's time to support them.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch how the program unfolds, because every program refines as it becomes more of the experience of those who are administering it, and they can see what works, what doesn't.
Absolutely.
And so you'll be working on that. And there's a big kickoff event coming up too. We want to talk to Angela.
There is. First, I just want to say, if anyone in the community wants additional information on Handle with Care, they can go to the United Way website, www.uwindianacounty.org/our community cares, and you can get information about the coalition or the Handle with Care program. I'd like to thank D.A. Manzi, the United Way, the coalition, the schools, and the first responders for signing up to be part of this team.
Yeah.
So it definitely is a team event. We want to thank everybody. The United Way has their kickoff here coming up. I'd like to remind everyone to please come out and support the United Way and the many great things that the United Way is doing. That is September 22nd at Mack Park.
There you go. There you go. We needed to give more time to this, Angela, than we did here this morning. So I want to get you in, and whoever you want to bring with you to talk more about Handle with Care, because I think it's a really, really important program, especially at the kickoff of a school year.
Yeah, we really look forward to sharing a lot more of the work of the coalition as well as the work of the United Way throughout our campaign fundraising season, which is obviously starting soon. So you'll hear us a lot on the radio, I'm sure. But one of the things about the kickoff that's super exciting beyond the normal things that we usually have is we're actually going to have a hot air balloon this year over at Mack Park with tethered rides available for people. So it's going to be pretty interesting. Joyce Sharman and Jimmy Rickard are our campaign chairs this year, so they'll be in here to talk a little bit more about that at some point.
Yeah. Well, Handle with Care is certainly one program of many that United Way is involved in. I want to thank you all for coming in to visit with us here this morning. Like I said, there's so much more to explore with this topic, and we will over the course of however long it takes, Angela. That's the way we'll approach that. We're obviously past the top of the hour, and so we're going to forego Fox News. Jake is with us from the newsroom. He's coming up in just a couple of moments. It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com.